All right. So it seems that we are live here on YouTube, and welcome to another little Bobeats live stream. If you are new to my live streams, they are basically the time when I talk to you guys. We chat about synths, about music production stuff, and I answer questions. Maybe we'll take a look at some new cool things, and yeah, just kind of hang out together. So if you're watching this after it aired live, don't expect too much exciting things. I usually, at the moment, I'm not really making music on my live streams. That's something I might do in the future when I have a little bit more time on my hand. But as is, I'm mainly focused on connecting with you all. It's like a time when we catch up, basically. So I hope the video is coming through nicely. I hope the audio is coming through nicely. If it doesn't, let me know, and I'll be sure to fix it. So let's see here. I see a first little problem here. So I see that the chat here isn't showing up as it should. So maybe I have to fix this. Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh, there we go. I managed to do it live on the fly. So in today's little live stream, I have actually scheduled out a couple of things. Firstly, we need to have a little sip of the coffee. I mean, not cringy at all. Now, stuff to talk about. Well, let's catch up. So if you're here, say hello. It's good to be back live. We also gonna unbox some cool stuff that is coming up on the channel later. I just want to showcase you what's going on, what I'm working on, what kind of videos to look forward to, and maybe talk a bit about the future as well. And I think you guys will also throw topics at me that we can discuss live and direct. So it's a weird time. I know if you're watching this when it's not live. What's the opposite of not live? When it's a recorded video, you might feel justifiably cheated because I kicked off this live stream 9:45 a.m. Swedish time, and this is because this is my new life. My children are in preschool. Suddenly I have a little bit more free time during the day to live stream, but not in the evenings. Evenings are terrible. But if you want to watch a live stream that I did in the evening, you can go to Geosynth. Geosynth here on YouTube is a channel that you definitely should check out. He does amazing content, and he had me on as a guest, so Geosynth is good to check out. So I see some people are here. Matthew's here. He says it seems a-okay. That's awesome. I had a little issue with the live streaming earlier today. Earlier I tried to kick off the live stream, and it was a new interface on YouTube, so I was a little confused. Chris Head is here. Orangeru is here. Mr. Basic, he says, don't drop the Hydrasynth. The Hydrasynth is actually on the floor. Oh, I feel so bad. TH is here. Seba is here. Dr. Recorda. Sinister is here. Good morning, Sinister. Rossi, Paul D, Lee Huddleston, RGB Color is here, Andrew Jones, Simon Morton, Plugin Guru. Hello, mates. I met Plugin Guru at TSR 19, amazing guy, and he makes amazing patches. So if you haven't checked out Plugin Guru here on YouTube, you should definitely just type in Plugin Guru while we're live streaming and just subscribe, because there's some solid content over on his channel for sure. Havelock, good seeing you. Elia, Alex Knoll is here as well. Esbot. Curie, Max Powers is here. Is it spelled Geosynth? Yes. Maybe Matt, maybe you can drop a link to Geosynth? Yeah, thank you, Matt. Accurate Beats is here. He says poop, but in Swedish. Haha. I made the best joke the other day on Lightbats and R. Benny's little birthday stream. They were talking about an IKEA shelf. And they were like, yeah, I don't remember the name. You know, Swedish names, always so curious. So I said, it's probably named Hylla. Because Hylla is the Swedish word for shelf. Haha. So bad. But it was funny. Put it up all over the screen. Mark Safin says, just a little language for you, sir. Geo in Geosynth is pronounced Geo. Geo. In Swedish, we would say Geosynth. So, Geosynth, there you have it. Fuck y'all. with your English language. Sorry. F-bomb. Yeah, I don't swear much, but yeah. Jonathan Ray, Chris Smouth, and now in before people in the comment section after this video is aired live will be angry that I made a joke about the English language. And I'm slurping too, probably. Roderick Legato, such a dad joke. I mean, I am a very daddy kind of person. Like, I'm a real dad. I have the worst jokes. Chris Mout says, thank you for all the amazing synths videos recently, Bo. Great work. Thank you. I will be super honest and say it's been an insane week. Last week was, I mean, it was insanity, and the week before was pretty crazy too. I put my little baby boy into preschool, and at the same time there were like 5-6 packages coming here, and of course I'm not complaining in any way. I mean, it's super amazing that I can be able to dive deep into all of these fun toys, but it's of course a ton of work, that's for sure. So I'm checking here, everything seems good, audio seems good, frame rate seems good, yes. Slurp, yes, I'm slurping. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go like this. Okay, there we go. I think I managed. So, if you guys haven't seen, of course, this week has been pretty crazy. I'm pretty sure most of you have been keeping up with all the craziness that's been going on. Let me just pull it up here if you haven't. Just a little quick quick recap kind of thing, I guess. Let's see here if I can switch. Can I switch? I need to get one of those cool little Elgato switches for my live stream for sure. Yeah, so we had the Roland JU06A synthesizer coming out. We had the MC707. We had the Korg Nutect. We had the Hydra synth coming out. We also had the MC101. MC101. Let's Google that. So this one, the MC101, possibly pricey, possibly not. I don't know. I'll be checking it out soon. As I actually didn't know it was coming. Like, I don't know. I don't have all the insights into what's coming out, and I didn't know that this one was coming out. So I actually hit up Roland at release day, and I said, you know, this is really cool. Why didn't you send this one? And they were like, we can send it now. And I'm like, okay, because I think people want to see it. I think it's the #1 requested thing that people want me to review at the moment. And I think it looks very cool. It's very interesting. I'm not going to sit here and say that it's totally worth $500 or that you should get it or anything. I just think that there's something appealing about it. It can't sample. You can. It's a sample player, so it's more something like a circuit. Now, of course, a circuit is much less expensive, but I think it all goes down to that this has different functions. Basically, not everybody needs an Novation circuit. Not everybody loves it. I have plenty of people who come into my channel and they love the Novation circuit. From looking at my videos, they pick one up and then they aren't feeling it. They don't feel it. So maybe this is an interesting contender. Let's just see here. So this is €513 and Novation circuit. Novation circuit. Don't they even sell it? That's weird. Novation circuit, maybe it was there, maybe I just didn't see it. Yeah, so the Novation circuit is about €300 currently, but I think it was closer to 400 when it was released, so take that for what it is. So, yeah, interesting. I should use the Streamlab app. Okay, Matt, awesome. Ollie says, thank you for the MC707 review. My favorite this week, a possible contender for the studio. Well, thank you, Ollie. And it's interesting. Could you perhaps you could elaborate a little bit on why it's a possible contender for the studio? Because I think that some people go into looking for something like an Octatrack, but it's not really. So maybe you could expand a little bit on that. Curious says, I'm craving for the NewTek. Yes, the NewTek synthesizer was definitely one of my absolute favorites. And something I didn't go over in my video, simply because... So here's the whole like behind the scenes thing. I don't want to make excuses. You all deserve good content, definitely. And I think I can always improve. So just behind the scenes is, I was sitting making the NewTek video. Let me bring it up for you. So we could have it running here in the background. So I was making this NewTek video here quite late in the night. So basically we had a release scheduled for 7 a.m. Swedish time on Tuesday. And I, of course, knew that Loopop was doing a video too, so I felt like it's better for me to actually also release 7 a.m. just like he does. And of course, and this sort of competition, I don't think it's bad in any way. I actually enjoy this competition. It's like a friendly, and it's not a competition really. It's just kind of, you push each other to do better stuff. I feel without people like Loopop, I would not do better content, because frankly there's not that many channels that output great content consistently on new pieces of gear. So I feel like having him around is awesome for me, because it pushes me to do better stuff. But basically there were a few things I didn't go over in the video, and it was mainly because I sort of forgot about it, because I was sitting up till past midnight finishing up the video. Because of course these videos take quite long time to record and make. So that's sort of the behind the scenes of that. But yeah, the NTS one is a really cool and weird synth, and for me it's a lot more fun than a lot more fun than a Volca, for example, for some reason. Christian said, we've never had so much choices for affordable, capable synths. That's for sure. That's for sure. So what's my favorite product from last week? Kevin asks. My favorite product has to be the Hydra synth, for sure. Because I really like the MC707, but I'm not really sure how much I will be using it. And it's not because of any fault of the MC707. It's more, anybody following the channel knows that I have plenty of groove boxes. So I mean, sequencers aren't really an issue for me. But my personal favorite is the Hydra synth. The video that I shot still really represents my honest opinion, feelings about it. I was actually super happy to test it out, super excited about it. I thought there was just some magic going on there. So Hydra, definite contender for favorite synth. Would be curious, Orange says, would be curious on your thoughts on the MC101 bow, especially comparing it to the circuit. Yeah, so the MC101 should be coming maybe this week or something, and I hope to do some videos on that as well. So yeah, definitely. Chris says, must admit, Roland's new groove boxes aren't setting my world on fire. Anyone feel the same way? So I think, and I think this goes for the TR8S as well. I think in general, Roland and Yamaha are brands that go for a broad audience, mass market appeal. And for us, we have to remember, every time somebody says like, oh, Roland are not doing what their fans want them to do, in a sense it's true, because they're not catering to this small group of hardcore synth fanatics all that much. However, what they are doing is that they're giving a broader audience what they actually want to buy. If I go to a Swedish store and I look for Electron, I look for Behringer, I look for Roland and Yamaha. You see, Roland and Yamaha, they're always Roland and Yamaha synths boutiques and stuff because they're an easy sell to a big audience. Whereas an analog synth, for example, like the Model D, the Behringer clone, I think we overestimate how wide an appeal it has. Of course, it sells well for an analog synth because of the price, because of the name recognition. I'm sure it sells well, but I think we underestimate how well boutiques and reface synths sell. Now, I don't have any numbers. I'm just pulling this out of my, but that's my analysis, because a big brand like Roland and an even larger brand like Yamaha, which is such a big massive business, they wouldn't be making these boutiques and reface series synths if they didn't sell really well. And I think therefore, for a really hardcore groovebox enthusiast or hardcore synth lover, this mass market appeal might not be all that exciting every single time a new item comes out. That being said, I think the MC707 is a lot of fun. I think it makes a lot of sense. And I think, I'm not sure if Ollie answered my question, but I'm sure there are very good reasons to pick up an MC707 for a lot of people. I've had the comments ranging from I hate it to I love it, I have to have one. So it's not one of those, where the hardcore crowd is 100% on board. I think the Hydra synth had a little bit more of that reaction, whereas the Roland stuff is a little bit more divisive. But it's not only because of the product, it's also because there's this narrative going on at the moment where Roland is sort of a bad guy. I think we should be a little bit mindful of this, like the bad guy narrative around Roland. And this was something I wanted to kind of address with my video. I know I might not have succeeded to everybody's liking, but with my little boutique review, my point was basically that I'm not a big fan of classic synths, but I kind of see what they're doing with the boutiques. I don't see it as a cash grab. I see it as them making a really, really nice little small digital synthesizer that sort of resembles a classic, but it's not the same thing. And I think that's a fair assessment. I think that's why they make them. I think that's why they sell. And I think I also wanted to bring up, like I did in the video, I actually did some thorough testing of it as an audio interface. And I wanted to focus on that as well, because for a lot of people in the hardcore synth scene, this is of course, not important. But I think for somebody who's looking into a boutique for the first time, that's interesting for them. Yeah, Hydrosynth is digital. Yeah. But it's still one of those digital synths that sort of tick the boxes for the more hardcore crowd. And also wavetable synthesis is very hot right now. I don't know what question I was answering. Maybe this was just me going on a tangent. But yeah, we're talking about Roland might not be super appealing to every one of us. And yeah. That makes sense. Good morning, Dual Tracks. Welcome here, buddy. So, Dual, you're never shying away from giving your opinion on stuff. Give us the lowdown. What was your favorites, and what was what was the stuff that you were most impressed about and least impressed about this last week of crazy synth news? So, Ollie answered my question about why the MC707 works for him. He says, "For me, it seems to be a powerful workhorse, taking simple sample-based workflow into the setup, not just short clips, but also long ones, and in stereo." Makes sense, yeah? And the fact that it's simple is important to a lot of people. It's very simple. Once you get it down, there's very little fiddling around with it. Part 2. I would effectively get rid of two devices, the Digitact and the TR8S, in favor of just one unit, saving space in my setup. Yes, I can see that too. for many setups, especially I'm using the Digitact in my large setup, but the way I use it is more like a little sampler, drum machine making a few cool noises. I'm not really taking advantage of it, of the strengths of it as a groove box as much as I do when it's standalone. So I can totally see changing it and maybe the Octatrack for the MC707, giving me quicker looping capabilities in stereo. Hey Bo, I just had a sudden idea, kind of an analogy to Andrew Huang's For Producer series. Why not sharing some gear with a couple of guys here? You start a review and let's say a baseline, then send the gear to someone for a limited time to make a pad. Okay, so we send the gear around. In theory, it's a very cool idea. In practice, it's one of those ideas that I must respectfully decline because I really hate stuff that is too require too much logistics. If you guys know the amount of work it took to just put up my giveaway this Christmas, like it's absurd the amount of logistic around stuff like that. Philip Porat asks, how good is the synth in the 707? I'm gonna be straight. It's average, but I also think that the circuit engine is average. The synth sounds you can get out of a Digitact is very average. If you create an oscillator using samples, it's not groundbreaking. It's not amazing. It's average, but I mean, you're paying $1,000 for a sampler, sequencer, drum machine with a lot of voices, plenty of effects, and you get a synth on top. So I mean, groove boxes aren't meant to be the most amazing synthesizers. The same goes for the Deluge. I have the Deluge here. I think it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. It's one of the absolute coolest products that has come out these last 5 to 10 years, I think. But the synth engine sounds average. It's not bad, but it's not like, whoa, what's happening here? Like, woo, it's not Hydrasynth. Jim Shannon is here as well. Hello, Jim. Welcome here. Nice seeing you. Let's see here. Dual answered my question. Dual says, for me, the Hydra was the only one that sounded cheapest and not interesting. Interesting that you think that. Jupiter XM is the most interesting so far. Hey Dual, can you tell me just why you think the XM is most interesting? Just let me know. I'm super curious because I have it here and I'm gonna do some videos on it, but I'm super curious what you think, Dual. Too many analog synths this day is being released. Not so many good digital ones though, says Dual. He says it's harder to do a digital one than an analog one today. Yeah, possibly. I mean, all you have to do is to do well with an analog. It's like having decent amount of functions, and it looks kind of nice and sounds kind of nice, and people would be like, okay, yeah, cheap analog, woo, choo choo. Tweak says hello all, hello. Sinister says the Summit is nice. Yeah, the Summit is nice for sure. But I think, and you can quote me on this, I think the Hydra rivals the Peak and Summit pretty easily. Definitely. John said, did you see the Behringer Pro 1? I think I did. I'm sort of losing count on all the Behringers. And I agree with Dual. He says that Microfreak is something, but it's not in a big sound kind of way. It's small, cheap, portable, good for small setups. Yeah, like the Dual is... the Microfreak is... I mean, sound-wise, it's also above average. Like, on a 5-point scale, I'll say 3.5 maybe at most, but it's just versatile and fun also, which plays into it. Would the 101 be a circuit killer? No, definitely not. They're so very different in the way you use them. I think that's very evident. I don't think they really appeal to the same people. TH asks, out of all the groove boxes, which one you actually enjoy making music on the most? I really enjoy making music on the Analog Rhythm Mark II, and I would call that a groove box. It's a drum machine, but it can also work as a groove box for me anyway. So using that standalone is just so nice. It just sounds really, really good. It has this very nice tone to it, especially when you start sequencing changes to the compressor and the analog overdrive. I think it's an overdrive or distortion overdrive, maybe. It just sounds really good. It's a lot of fun. And I might actually, I have the Analog 4 here for a reason, because I'm actually thinking of doing maybe a video on how to make them portable. So portable Analog Rhythm or Analog 4. It's not very complicated, but it's kind of a fun idea for a video. The Digitact, also a lot of fun, and of course the Deluge, but I haven't really dived into it. So if I have to pick one, I would say Digitact, because I just know it the best. So Duel says in regards to the Jupiter, he says, I think Zencore from the Jupiter makes the synth shine, and the internal DSP can really make a difference, and it has a lot of power in it. I totally agree. The Jupiter does sound really good. Like if you take the MC707 and you put it next to the Jupiter, and as far as I know, they are not the same synth engines at all. Some say that this MC707 is Zencore, but now I've been corrected. It's supposedly an older engine from one of their guitars, I think. Don't quote me on it, but this is what I heard from Woody Piano Shack, who was in London talking to Roland. So on the Jupiter, they have this new Zencore technology, and it does sound super good. And I really started to dive into it, and I managed to find out how to initialize a preset. I said on GeoSynth's channel that I wasn't too sure how to do it. It's a little convoluted. It's more meant to, you start with presets and you move from there and create big. It's supposed to be fast to create a big sound or multi-layered sound or a split or multi-timbral setup. But you can start from initialized preset. You can use VA engines, the Zencore engines. You can use sample-based engines, and there's a ton of things you can actually. There's like a small mod matrix. There's a lot of things going on under the hood. It's just a little hard to reach sometimes. I feel it's a bit like the Mode X, where they're sort of hiding it. I wish they just had a mode where it's like sculpting mode. Just engage it, and then the synth is geared towards creating the sound rather than playing it. I think the Mode X does this well in terms of like having live scenes, and Jupiter XM and X. They also use a scene mode, but it's just I'm not really. It's hard to wrap my head around. It's like, oh, where did my sound go? Where did I save it? How do I load it? Those kind of things are a little iffy. But there's a ton of depth, and it sounds really good. I think I don't think that the Jupiter sounds weird. I think the Jupiter sounds what you'd expect, and I think it shines. I think it has great effects. I mean, remember, it's 5-part multi-timbral. One of the parts is a drum machine, and that drum machine actually sounds good. It's not a bad drum machine. It's like a nice. I think it's Zencore technology behind it. It's not just sample based. I think maybe some of the kits could be sample based, but it does sound really good. So definitely. Max asks, which restaurant serves your favorite hamburgers? Just local ones, small franchise boutiques, not franchises. Björn says, good morning, Bo. Sweet Bo. Sweet brother. Hello from Norway. Awesome. He says he wants to chip in and say that I agree that the Hydrosynth looks amazing. I was set on getting one. Yeah, it does. Yeah, exactly. The Hydrosynth is built by an ex-engineer from Arturia, and one thing that the videos doesn't show is, and I'm gonna say this many times, if it turns out that they have like cheap parts inside of it, I would be very surprised, because the enclosure is so well built that I don't think it makes sense to put really bad stuff inside of it. Some people have been worried about that because of, the China thing. But I think it goes, I mean, this is built by people who really know synths. So I think, I do think we have reason to trust it. The Atomic Tom says, morning, Bo. Good morning. Does the drum machine on the Jupiter work the same way as on the new Phantom? I don't know. I don't know how the new drum machine on the Phantom works. Basically, the Jupiter has a sequencer, but it's very rudimentary. It's like a step sequencer thing. So you have a grid, but it's. I wish they had expanded on it, but if they had, then it would sort of rival the Phantom, I suppose. I don't think maybe they don't want to. So. Stream delay is huge. It looks a bit plasticy. Okay. Everything looks good on my end. So just let me know if there's any problems with the stream. It's good to know. I don't think I can do that much about it, but it's always good to know. Okay, so let me do. I just want to do a little bit of. I do a little bit of an unboxing of some stuff. And then we'll get back to chatting. So let me move over here. So, and now I'm gonna move my mic. So sorry if there's any annoying noises. Hello. So here we have it. Well, look here. Hydra keyboard. I always write on the cable. I know I should use like one of those label printers. So what's coming up on the channel later this year? Well, this was sent to me by Eventide. This is the Euro DDL. So their little Durac module. So I'm looking forward to testing this out. I still have this aim of my Durac to be sort of an effects rig. So I'm really looking forward to trying this out. Going to be very, very exciting. Yeah, even has a little USB here on the side. Not that much to say about it really. It's an effects unit, multiple delay, mostly delay I think. Let's see, what does it say? Yeah, mostly like delay focused I suppose. So very interested to test it out, see what it's about. Haven't read that much about it. Sometimes it's just fun to go in blind. Then, of course, we have this one. And I'm actually going to do a giveaway of one of these. I'm not too sure how to do the giveaway. I haven't decided yet, but I have two of them. I think I'll keep one around for video purposes maybe. And so this is the new Microlab from Arturia. And it's quite clever with the little cable here. And to just answer the very common question, how does the keys feel? And I'd say they feel like a key step. Feel a bit like a key step. So and this is not a new key step or anything. This is a MIDI keyboard for your computer. It's built to be a little rugged, a bit like the portable SC drives, the orange ones that are quite popular. And this one is just. It's a pretty interesting small form factor keyboard for having on the go, and I think this will actually replace my M32 from Native Instruments as my go-to like travel keyboard for sure, because I don't really need the knobs on M32. That's more for not so much for travel maybe. I think it makes sense. It's an interesting design, but what's to say about it? It is what it is. It has a hold function. It has a chord function. You can program chords. You're supposed to be able to change presets and categories here. That is just for the software, for the Arturia software. However, I found that it worked so-so. across DAWs. So I think that's a, it's not something that works perfectly in every DAW. In Machina, for example, it didn't work very well. Not entirely sure why. Maybe it's my fault. Yeah, so let me just check if there was any questions about this. Oh yeah, and the keyboard. I think this is like 90 or 99. I think it's 90 or 99 dollars. I think. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can just switch the mic a bit like this, maybe, so you don't pick up so much noise. Now, the next thing I want to show you guys is something I think a lot of you are excited about. Will be excited about. Look here. This is something that actually, I think if Mr. Basic is still in the chat, I think he actually got the first version of this in a giveaway, in a Bobeats giveaway. This is the Gecko Loop Synth version 2. And they have improved the MIDI compatibility. So they've added a MIDI cable with it. And just look at this. Look at this. This is so beautiful. It's a bit bigger than the first one. This is so beautiful. I mean, this is... Oh, but don't break it. Oh, look here. Just... Wow. This is the first time I'm touching it. So this is the new Gecko Logic Gecko Loop Synth version 2. So I think it's very similar, I suppose, to the first one, but they've actually... I mean, the overall feel of it is definitely improved upon. So... I mean, this is really cool. So I'm really looking forward to testing this and showing it to you guys. I'm just gonna put it back very nicely so I can do an unboxing. No, I'm not sure if I'm gonna do an unboxing, but anyway, the MIDI thing was actually one of the things that I was very clear on that they needed to add value to a synthesizer setup. Because of course, if you have MIDI, it's much easier to integrate it. And with the original one, I think MIDI was an addition. You could add MIDI, sort of an addition to it. So yeah, that was something which I think people were excited about to see on the second edition of it. And let me just show you something else. So this here isn't exactly new, but this is from the same company that makes the Gecko. This is the Polyphonic Whale, which is more of a meditative synth. And I was supposed to make a video about it this summer, but I have been super busy doing all manner of things. So this is their other synth, the Polyphonic Whale, which takes audio from the surroundings and blends it with synthesis, and the surrounding, the audio waves that come in interacts with the synth engine in various ways. There's different engines, and it's just a lovely experiencing, very meditative. It's not meant to be this synth that you make music with, I suppose. I mean, you could definitely make music with it, but it's more of an experience, I think. And I actually met Mario, I think his name is, and his lovely wife and their daughter at Superbooth. And they were super happy about all the support that they had gotten for their product, because they didn't really set out to make like proper synths. They set out to make interesting auditory experiences, meditative or otherwise. And yeah, I think they managed to. I think Mario even said that he didn't quite know that what he calls channels on his Gecko Loop synth, he didn't quite consider that it's called patches on a synth. Like, he didn't really know that. He didn't know that that was the traditional language of a synth, because I call them patches. The different channels are different patches, basically. or different engines, depending on how you look at it. But it's channels was just the word that he came up with, and I think that's just so cool, so very original in a way. So that's something which you can look forward to on the channel as well. And of course, if you don't mind, I'll be plugging my Patreon now. So if you really like my videos, there's a Patreon link. I really hope that some of you guys are up to supporting what I'm doing, because I'm spending a ton of time on it, and I'm trying to do the best possible content I can and improve every single day. So if you want to, Patreon is linked down below. Now, let's see here. Oh, yeah. Let me show you also, and something else to look forward to, possibly a video is on the H9 from Eventide as well. I hope to make a little video on this too. This is very interesting for synths. It's their like flagship effects unit, and yeah, I hope to make a little video on it, and yeah, probably just make some music, maybe add the different effects to some dry, boring synth sounds and go from there. So that's just a little bit of what's coming up. Then we of course have AE Modular is still on the shopping block. I need to get that video done. Deluge should get some coverage. I should do something with the squid as well from Pioneer, because it's actually a quite fun sequencer. So I hope to do something on that as well. So that's a little bit of what's coming up. And yeah, if you have suggestions for the giveaway for a microlab, I'm probably keeping the orange one though, because it's so stylish. It's so stylish with the Lassie drives. But yeah, if you have an idea for how to do a fun giveaway of a microlab, let me know. I'm moving over. So the Eventide H9 is a stereo, and let's see here. I haven't even considered. I think that the DDL, Euro DDL, is mono. Yeah. It's hard to keep everything in mind. You know, there's... no, it's just one in, one out, so should be mono. Volcanized. Good seeing you, buddy. Floyd, good seeing you. Mr. Basic, good that you're still here. Razvan, if I didn't say hi, hello there. Sachi says, hi, Bo, I'm just here to say hi. Time to go to bed. Here it's 3 a.m. Take care, man. Well, take care of you as well. Just scrolling up to see if there was any questions that I should answer. So if you have any more questions, just let me know. Oh, let me pose a question to you guys. So from all the announcements this week or last week, what was the most exciting to you and why? What were you most excited about, and what sort of caught your eye? And it's totally okay to say the boutique. We won't judge. This is a no judging zone, okay? You can love the boutiques. Mikael says, hi Bo, Norrland represent. Säger jag bara då. Ja. Paul D asks, Bo, regarding build quality, have you been tempted to open up these new machines and see what the insides are really like? No, never. This is not for me. I am totally unknowledgeable. I can only judge based on comparisons to other products. and sort of common sense. There are very few synths that have, like, the rationale is usually this. If a synth has, it's very rare to see a really, really nice exterior on a synth with a really shitty innard. Like, this is very rare, I'd say. Oftentimes it's sort of leveled, so if you have put a lot of money into what's going on inside, you're also putting a lot of money into the outward facing stuff. And more so than not, I think what's inside is generally better than the outside, like on average. For example, Electron devices do have some issues with the build for some people. And if you compare, like, okay, so how good is the finish compared to what's going on inside? I'd say what's going on inside is much more exciting than the finish in general, I'd say. Same with, say, a boutique. Like, the synth sound is much better than the feel of the device. So that's why I think the Hydra should be pretty good. So maybe I'm totally off here. This is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is a fact. It's just my analysis of how generally people create things in the synth scene. The small box, what was the name again? Either the Gecko loop synth or the polyphonic whale. So Gecko, loop synth, or polyphonic whale. So let's see here. Steven says definitely the Hydra synth. Oh yeah, I haven't tried the Mimiophone from Make Noise. I don't really have any gear from them. Azur says, honestly, all the new Roland gear makes me love my V-Synth even more. That's awesome. Dinan says, Tweak says, for me it's the NTS. Dinan says, I want to see a comparison between MC101 and Circuit. Yeah, I hope to do something like that. Hydra synth. Chris, that's a good question. If I have any smaller channels that inspire me. Russ says, Nick Bat says that the Hydra is built like a tank. Yeah, like I'm not an engineer, but from the feel of it, it makes most synths feel cheap. Okay? Like, the feel of it is really, really good. Like, I can't overstate this. When I unpacked it, was like, wait, what? How good is this? Like, it makes the peak feel weak. Like, the build is very, very nice. Now, of course, it could break down after a week. I don't know. Like, nobody knows this. But it's just surprisingly well built. And I'm not overstating it. I think anybody who touches it would recognize that, they could have cut down on a lot of things on this device, for sure, and still sold it at 1,200 or 1,300, but they haven't. Kevin says, most exciting was the Phantom, followed by the MC707. Blew me away. Oh, yeah. The 7,000 Australian pesos for the Phantom and 1,700 for MC707. Yeah, that's super expensive. Like, that's so much money. Basic says, the new tech surprised me with the huge amazingness. Yeah, it is. Kapow says, please speak on the MC707 synth engine. So, the MC707 synth engine. Let's see if I can recall everything from memory. But it's basically, you can create a sound and you select an engine. And the engines are either like a VA engine, virtual analog engine. It's not ACB technology, but it's some kind of Roland technology, of course, in there. You can also use a sample to create a sound. You can use PCM-based sounds to create the synth sound. And there's also some other engine, like I think it's called Supersaw or something. I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember exactly. I don't know how that differentiates from the VA technically, but The VA is like the most interesting, I think, because of course that's where you have you can set up the 4 oscillators. You have pitch modulation. You have all the like the LFO to frequency. You can set up all of the standard stuff from a subtractive synthesizer basically, and you of course have one insert effect as well, and the insert effect are like numerous. There's so much going on, and a lot of them are actually very, very good for creating synth sounds, because the master effects, like I said in the video, like the master effects on the MC707, a lot of them are a little bit too much over the top. Like, how interesting is it to put a phaser or chorus on the entire track? It's not super interesting. Maybe for like a little breakdown or something, but most of them are like pretty extreme. They're not very subtle. But for an individual track, for an insert effect or master effect of that track, or that clip for that matter, because you can have different sounds per clip. For that, I think like putting a Uno chorus and stuff on, and I think with the effects, that's where you can really start to make it shine. And I didn't, of course, go into super much detail about this in my video. I mean, I didn't really have the time, basically, but I could definitely do something about that in the future. The Atomic Tom says, I agree with you that it can be better to demo a synth by making a whole track. Maybe you could solo individual tracks to highlight sounds and patches. Yeah, I mean, I try, and I know not everybody enjoys it, obviously. Some people just want like standard demos, standard the cookie cutter reviews, like the middle of the road. Here's the synth. Okay, let's filter. Here's the first VCO, DCO, whatever. And I get that. To me personally, it's always about striking a balance between what you guys are asking for, what I think you want, but also what gives me energy. And I think this is what sets my channel apart from what I think are more middle of the road synth channels. I don't approach synths from this perspective of like, this is how you do it, this is the way you're supposed to demo something, this is what's important. I approach it more from what excites me, what am I interested in, what do I want to explain, and sometimes I might hit the mark, and sometimes I miss the mark, but overall, for me personally, to keep my sanity, producing like 5 videos in 1 week, I need to strike a balance between traditional here's the oscillator, here's the filter, and more here's the sounds that I've created with it. This is what it sounds like from my perspective. And I can always do better. Definitely. I'm always picking up on like comments and stuff about the videos and trying to improve on what I'm doing. Ollie, good having you here. See you later. Have a good week. Jasper Gray says, I assume you're making your own backing music, am I right? So for the most part, I have my own music in the background, but I have also tracks from channel sponsor Audio Blocks or Storyblocks Audio. Go and check them out. I'm just kidding. So I have a channel sponsor called Storyblocks Audio, and I've used tracks from them. It's just to mix it up, because I do a lot of like talking segments, obviously, like I'm a talker. And to be honest, sometimes it's just kind of boring for me to pick my own music, and it's nice to pick 1 or 2 tracks that somebody else has made just kind of to lighten the mood of a talking segment or something. So there's actually a bit of a mix. But many of the tracks are mine, or like a 70-80% of the tracks in all of my videos are mine. The background music, not the demos. The demos are obviously mine. Una says, do you think Korg is going to pursue more synths in line of the new tech but normal scale? No, like new tech is like their DIY kind of thing. So if they're doing more of it, it's going to be more small scale things, which I think could happen. Aha, okay, Dual, the adaptation of the new red line, the red panel lineup. Cool. I haven't checked them out. I'm not very into Buchla. I mean, that's the next level, I suppose. Jan says, I owned the Deluge, but I sold it because I couldn't glue with the workflow. Now I'm an Electron guy, but the workflow is pretty much programming music. Now I'm happy about MC707 for fast, fun workflow. Yes, the MC707, I think that's the strength. I think if the Deluge if you didn't connect with the Deluge or something like a circuit, or you feel that the programming side of the Electron stuff is too much for you, then I think something like an MC makes a lot of sense. It's much less fiddling about. Of course, it also means less depth, but it also means quicker workflow. We have to remember that there's always this discussion. So remember that hardware synths are like on one side when it comes to like quick and productive workflows. Normally when you listen to really good producers, or when I listen to a Swedish podcast with a lot of producers, most of them use like Omnisphere, Splice, stuff that are quick, instant. They don't overthink it. They don't like, oh, I have to have a original, like, of course they enjoy it, but they don't have to have it. So because having a ton of hardware slows you down. That's just a fact. It takes a much longer time to set up a hardware synth, record it, blah blah blah, than it takes just firing up a preset inside of a software. And the same goes for the groove boxes. An Electron groove box is generally harder to get into and slower to work with for a long period of time until you really master it, than say a Roland product, because they are more mass market, broad appeal. They're not made to be super hardcore devices. You have to remember that Electron stuff is very hardcore. Even something like the MPCs are a little bit more niche. I mean, it's a very wide audience for MPC style workflows, but I think if you look at it still, it's like I think Roland is going for a much broader appeal, basically. Something that's much easier to pick up on. There's just much fewer settings, much fewer options, and quicker to get started. And whether or not you like that, that's up to you. Nice Chord says, have you played the Roland MC101? How is it compared with Innovation Circuit? I haven't played with MC101. It's coming here soon, I hope. And yeah, interesting. John says, will HydraSynth be obsolete in 1 year? Definitely not. If HydraSynth is obsolete in 1 year, then Novation Peak is obsolete now. It sounds as good, has more functions, amazing build quality, very interesting lineup of presets. So yeah, I don't think it will be. I think it depends a little bit on how they handle the marketing and how they handle their brand, because it's a new brand. But yeah. The keys on the Hydra are, to my understanding, they feel very average. I mean, it's a smaller keyboard. So it's not like, I mean, there are normal sized keys. They feel good. I don't want to like be critical of them. There's nothing wrong with them. Has polyphonic aftertouch, so I mean, what's not to like about that? But it's not something groundbreaking. They feel a bit like Arturia Keylab Mark II, maybe. I wouldn't say exactly as good as, say, the analog keys. The analog keys were actually very nice, I think. But I'm not a keyboard guy, so it's a little hard. Like, that's why I joked about like the keys feel like keys. Like it's not like I play them more like, woo, like this is nice, this is really good. It was more like I played it and it felt good. Nothing to complain about. Jules says, "Hi from Corsham in the UK. I do like the way you review and chat on your channel. I'm interested in a new modal Argon 8 synth. Modal also, of course, released their the news about the 8 synth modal Argon 8. Let's see here. We can pull up a picture of it. Let's see here. Let me switch. I really need to set this up. Main screen. Boom. So this is the new modal. And Nick Bat has a little kind of first look here on it. I don't have any audio for it anyway. I haven't set that up for the live stream. But I think it looks really cool. And hopefully they fixed the knobs that I didn't like. It was basically the knob caps that I didn't like that much. It wasn't a big deal, I think, but it's funny. But yeah, so I haven't read up that much on it. I'm definitely interested in testing it out. I've been in contact with Modal to test it out, and I think that Modal. So the synths Modal are making are very interesting to me. I think they're pushing for a new kind of design. I think they're pushing for very nice, affordable, but well-sounding synths. I think the finish on the Sculpt and the CS Craft synth are okay. Don't think it's the finish of it is not the strength. I know a lot of people find it difficult to program sounds on them. I think the CS and the Sculpt maybe relies a little too heavily on the iPad integration. I mean, you can definitely program anything from it, but there are a lot of people that contact me and they tell me like, yeah, I sold my Sculpt. I couldn't program it. It was a little annoying to use because there's a lot of like shift commands and stuff on it. Not shift commands, but yeah, multiple layers of commands. So I think with the Argon 8, I think they have a possibility here to make an affordable, great sounding wavetable synth. And I mean, what's not to like about that? So maybe a competitor for the Hydra, not sure. I just have this feeling that the Hydra might be a little bit more high end, maybe aiming for a little bit more high end market like the Peak. But yeah. Hello, Rustic. Yes, I have live infomercials now. Welcome to the Bobeats infomercial. Here to sell you synths and stuff. Buy synths. You need them. I should do an entire infomercial in ASMR style. Grimly Ghost asks, will you test the Udo Super 6 and the Space Bee? Space Bee? Udo Super 6. Thank you, Mark, for... Was that a double donation? If it was, thank you so much. Thank you, Mark, for the support. And I have a little cup of cold coffee here. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it a lot, Mark. I even met Mark in London, which was super nice. There's a lot of awesome people in this community for sure. And Jorda, thank you so much as well. Is that Aud? Is that Australian? So 5 Australian is like $1 million or something. What do you think Electron will release next time? Mixer, Takt, A1, Dictaphone. So I'm not sure. Like what I've tried to get information from them, but I actually have no information from them. What I would assume, so this is just pure speculation. What I would assume is that they have the model samples. And if you look at the name, it's model and it's samples. I think is there a colon in there somewhere? I think there is. So model synth, model drum machine, I don't know. I mean, it makes sense to have like different tiers of products. So you have the entry level model samples, model synth, model drum machine or something. And then you have like the Digitac, Digitone stuff or model FM or something. And then you have like the higher end analog stuff, basically. That would make sense to me. I'm not sure if they were going that direction though. I truly don't know. Mark, let me know if you want that money back, Mark. I'm not sure how to do it. YouTube is a little iffy on the whole like paying people back, but let me know. You have my info on Facebook. Tape Record says, I just started watching your videos. They're great. Top choice. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Great to have you here. Bothan Nether says, need a solid ribbon to MIDI controller. Any recommendations? Sorry, I don't have any. So Grimly asked about the Udo Super 6. I might test the Udo Super 6. It depends if they can get one to me, and it's like a small brand, niche brand, and I don't really have money to spare to put down on it. So, I'd be happy to receive one if they want me to do a couple of videos on it, because it does look very cool. I think the brand is really cool. What they're doing is really cool. So I'd love to get behind that. So maybe, not sure. It's not something I prioritize that much. It's like it feels to me that maybe there are other channels that could do that sort of demo better than I can, possibly. Sound test room, good seeing you, buddy. Creshed says, hopes for 2020, all new synths having proper MIDI ports, not adapters. I agree, proper MIDI ports. That's a big selling point of the modals, by the way, proper MIDI ports. Volka says, it's really amazing how your channel has grown in the last 12 months. Congrats. Thank you so much. I'm floored every single day about the support, and it's a very weird situation to be in a way, but fun. Matthias, I think with the modals, you don't have to program them via the iPad, but it's just that because you can access everything, basically, almost everything from the panel, but some people just find it difficult because it's a small interface. So when you, for example, access the AMP envelopes and stuff like that, you have to use shift commands. Dara, good having you here. See you later. Mark says, you probably need two pounders for coffee. Yeah, definitely. Like, I'm not sure where the value is at with the pound, but you guys, you're having it rough. I still feel like Sweden did the right thing not getting the euro. I feel like we'll come out on top in the end. It's sad. It's very sad, but yeah. Luke Cage, hi Bowen everyone. I usually have to try synth before I buy, but I really do like the Hydro synth so far from the demos. Yeah, of course, always try synths before you buy, but I do also want to say that, of course, a lot of people don't have that option, for sure. Dual Track says, Electron should release Digitact Tone, some hybrid between Digitact and Digitone, combining both sampling FM synthesis or just digital. Yeah, I think so too. But I think maybe they don't want to, cut into their own markets, I guess. Pound is up, by the way. Yeah. I can imagine that the pound is going up. I haven't checked lately. Rustic, slightly out of focus for you. Yeah, I think maybe like the autofocus on my camera, like I have the shitty lens on, so it is what it is. I think this is very sharp, like I'm moving my head around, so it's just autofocusing. I should use my bigger lens, but then the camera falls over, so. Drew Perry says, hi Bo, first time synth recommendation for a long time musician just getting into synths. Love the channel, you're doing a great job, keep it up. Thank you so much, Drew, good having you here. I think it's maybe one of your first times in the live chat. So first time synth recommendation for a long time musician just getting into synths. I think that this is where something like the Minilogue XD really shines. It's easy to understand. You have a knob per function, so you don't have to menu dive. It's pretty easy to program the sequencer, and it just sounds really good. It's very versatile, has a lot of cool effects. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, Dual. If you say the camera is fine, then I'm happy. I actually have one light over there, and I have a big one over there, just lighting up the room a bit. I'm starting to get my lighting and the video game, up to par with other things. But yeah, Minilogue XD would be my go-to recommendation for anybody just wanting to pick up their first synth and want something proper, like want something that it will last them for a long time, because the XD is also expandable, so it has a huge resell value after a while. But and if you don't, if you want to keep going down the rabbit hole of synths, then you still have a really proper synth that you can expand upon with new oscillators and stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on there. So Minilogue XD, definitely. Thank you so much for the $2, Podden. Thank you so much. No, thank you. Thank you so much. It goes to the coffee fund. I actually had, I don't know if you're in the chat, but I had a really nice guy, Julian, send me some coffee. And it was actually very, very good also, the coffee. That stuff warms my heart. Rustic says, can you recommend for newcomers what and how they would get into modular desktop live pits mod case? Good idea for a series prior to holidays. Yeah, I mean that could be something I could do with getting into modular. I am going to check out the AE modular, for example, and basically talk a little bit about that as an alternative. Because I don't think everybody who wants to play with modular needs to go the Eurorack route. Of course, you could go the bigger it's 4U, right? 4 or 5U. I never remember. But anyway, the bigger route, of course. And you can, of course, go something like AE modular, smaller systems, cheaper, but compatible with Eurorack also. So that's a possibility too. But yeah, making a series on it is possibly something that can happen. I will have more time next year doing this. So hopefully, my aim is definitely to do more with Eurorack. It's just been, I've been super swamped with all other things that's going on with the channel. So it's just so hard to find a time for everything I want to do. It's super hard. Like I'm really pushing my limits as is. Like 5 videos last week. I mean, that is pushing it. Dual Track says, how about making this kind of live but inviting other guests once a week or two? It's very easy to do and you can bring instant impressions from the guest. Yes, Dual Tracks. I want to expand on the whole live show thing. I think one thing that sets my live show apart though, and I want you to keep this in mind, is that I have such a high interactions with chat, and I think if you ask people, they enjoy that. They think it's good. Whenever you bring a guest on, the dynamic changes, but it doesn't mean that I couldn't do it on occasion. The problem is only to set it up so it works, without too many hiccups and scheduling and stuff. So what I want to do, and because it's great that you bring it up, what I really want to do is make my channel more inclusive again. Because I think I had a lot of interviews and I even had patrons on for live chat. But to be very, very frank, all of that took so much energy away from doing proper reviews, doing proper videos with a lot of effort going into it, into scripting, into researching and stuff. So it's always about finding that balance. And I definitely want to do it. It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun on Jamie's show. I extended a hand to him. I said, if you want to come on my show, we can do something. Let's see if we can do something about that, because he's a great guy, and I have a lot of friends in the scene that could come on. But it's all about like scheduling, making it work for everybody, and finding a good format. And that's always my struggle, like the consistency aspect of things. It's very easy for me to get excited and to do it and push hard, but then you sort of fall apart when you realize that, oh man, I didn't think about all these issues. But I am working on solution. I have some secret stuff in the works that are like proper big news that I'm gonna announce soon, I hope, if everything pans out. But I have some that will solve a lot of this. Graphics, good seeing you here as well. And thank you, everybody. I don't know if I expressed my appreciation, but thank you for being here on the live show, and thank you for also the donations. That stuff does add up a lot, and I know not everybody likes Patreon and stuff like that, so thank you so much. It also makes my life easier when I explain to people that I'm sitting here and live streaming, and I'm actually earning some kind of income instead of doing what I'm educated to do. So it's good. It's kind of validating. So that's awesome. Mark Rebillet's live streams. Mark Rebillet, is that the guy who does like live musical improvisations? Hoist Styler? If it is, then I have. If Mark is Mark Rebillet, let me just Google Mark Rebillet. Yeah. Okay, that's the guy who does the live improvisations. Yeah, so he's pretty funny for sure. He's cool. Yeah. So let me just. I just need to check my. If there was anything else that I wanted to talk about. This live stream. Spledosa, thank you for bringing up the cryptocurrency thing as donations. To be very honest, I wouldn't mind it. I don't have anything against cryptocurrencies anyway, but I just don't want to set that up. It's just another. I have so many systems in place, affiliate systems and everything. Like I don't want to sit here complaining about earning money or anything, but it's about not having too many things to keep me occupied, because I'm solo. I'm doing this my own, and I mean it's enough work. Just handling the logistic as is. So I want to keep it very smooth and simple, and I don't want too much stuff on my mind. And I know crypto is a world I don't understand. I feel like a very old person when I say that, but I just don't understand it. Maybe in the future, if I have the time to go into it. But I think it's a very interesting thing. But yeah, I just wanted to be very clear on that. Let me see here. Mark plays with his shirt off. I don't know what to say about that. Well, I think he's doing his thing. He's the Chuck Norris of improvisation. I think he's funny. I think it's funny. I think it's entertaining. I think it is what it is, what he does. Like it's funny and entertaining, and he's very skilled. So I think that's it. If you had to choose between the Hydro keys or the desktop, which would you choose for your setup? I'd love to say the keys, because I do, and I think the key version is much cooler, but for space reasons, I would say the desktop, just because it's so hard to fit stuff in a large synth setup. For sure. Okay. I think the stream is coming to sort of an end. I think we've sort of exhausted the topics. It was a crazy synth week. Last week, I did 5 videos, I think. Nothing. I actually didn't manage to make something exclusive for patrons. But I do have a post up on Patreon just for suggestions of how to sort of demo some of the things I haven't demoed yet. So I'm always open to that. Yeah, just a super crazy week. It's been a lot of fun making the videos, of course, very exhausting too. Next up on the channel, I think, is I'm going to review the AudioFuse 8 Pre. It's actually the audio interface I'm using currently here under my iMac. I'm actually using it as a stand for my iMac. So the 8 Pre, and I'm actually working on doing a really good review. Like I want to test the interface properly, at least properly to a certain extent, like the extent I can manage to do it. So I'm going to compare it, I think, with the Claret 8 Pre from Focusrite, and I'm going to record stuff into both and just kind of listen to it. And my assumption is that they will hold up really well, both of them, and there won't be that much of a difference. But anyway, the interface is really cool, actually. Very well built. And that's coming up. I'm also looking at doing something with the Jupiter XM. It's actually downstairs because it's battery powered, so I've been playing with it downstairs. And that's coming up on the channel as well, sometime in the future. And like I showed you previously, a bunch of new cool stuff has landed, and I'm focused on making fun reviews, creative explorations of those toys as well. So that's some of the stuff that is going to happen. TH says, cheers, Bo. Keep doing exactly what you're doing. Thank you so much. Thank you for the donations today. That makes a lot of a difference for me. And if anybody here wants to support me and support what I'm doing here with the reviews, the music, tech, passion, sharing, whatever we'll call it, the link to Patreon is down in the description. $1 or $5 a month helps a lot in just terms of keeping the show going. And it also, I think this is something I don't stress enough, it does add a lot to the possibility to be independent, because of course the more support I have on Patreon, the less time I have to spend hunting for sponsors, for example. That's just how it is. There will always be a mix though, because it's very, very hard to sustain what I'm doing without different legs to stand on. It's very dangerous to put all your eggs in one basket. So if you want to support, that's a really good way to do it. Otherwise, I'm just happy that you're here to here to hang out, chat, and be a positive part of the community, because God knows that after launching my JU06A video, you do realize that there are some truly moronic people in this community too. Like, I don't want to get started, but let's not end on a bad note. But I'm so thankful for everybody who's here. You know, we can agree to disagree on certain things. We can be civil about it, and we can have a good, friendly, fruitful conversation about tech, about music, about anything. And I enjoy that about you all. So thank you so much for being here. This is Bobeats, and yeah, I'm out.